What up, world? Established Rich coming right back at you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story that has shaken our nation once again. A story about racial profiling, police brutality, and the quest for justice. I'm here to talk about the incident involving William McNeill Jr. and the police encounter that has ignited a national debate. McNeill, a Florida man, was seen in a video where his car window was smashed and he was punched repeatedly during a routine traffic stop by Jacksonville Police Department. The video, the body cam footage, and the actions of the officer have sparked outrage. And now, civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who is representing McNeill, has come out to speak against the police actions, calling them a clear case of driving while black. As I watch this unfold, I find myself at a crossroads. On one hand, we have a man who didn't comply with police orders, but on the other, we see excessive force, a clear violation of human dignity.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle!
The Jacksonville, Florida Sheriff's Office has now released body camera video of this violent arrest back in February, insisting the officers did nothing criminal. The suspect, 22-year-old William McNeill, also recorded video during the traffic stop.
There's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
In his video, he can be seen arguing with officers before one breaks his window, punches him, and pulls him from the car, hitting him again.
He was very confused as to why he was being pulled over for not having headlights on during the day.
But police say that video tells only part of the story.
Give me your driver's license, registration, proof of insurance.
No, call your supervisor.
In the newly released police body cam video, an officer is seen arguing with McNeill after pulling him over for not having his lights on in the rain. McNeill then locks himself inside as the officer repeatedly orders him to exit the car.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window.
Bro, I didn't do nothing.
It's called resisting, idiot.
There absolutely was force used by the arresting officers, and yes, that force is ugly. And just because force is ugly does not mean it's unlawful.
In the police report, an officer claimed McNeill was reaching for a knife. McNeill's lawyers deny that.
We watched the video, and that did not happen.
McNeill says the incident left him with a chipped tooth and wounds requiring 9 stitches. He spoke exclusively last night to WJXT.
And then I also had a concussion and suffered from short-term memory loss.
Despite the deputies being cleared criminally, an internal investigation into their conduct is underway.
So what do we do with this? What do we make of this situation? The incident started as a routine traffic stop. McNeill was pulled over by Jacksonville police officers who claimed he had an issue with his headlights. However, as we watch the body cam footage and the viral video, it becomes clear that the reason the officer stopped him was questionable. It was daytime, it wasn't raining. Why would his headlights be a concern? Immediately, that raises a question. Why was he stopped in the first place? Was this just an excuse, a pretext? In a normal situation, you would think this would turn into a simple ticket, maybe a warning. Instead, it escalated quickly, and what should have been a routine exchange turned into a confrontation. Now, what comes next in this video is where the situation gets complicated. McNeill refused to roll down his window, claiming his window did not work. The officers then asked him to exit the vehicle, and that's where everything went left. The officers then smashed his car window and dragged his ass out of the vehicle. That's the point where I began to question, was this necessary? McNeill wasn't aggressive. He wasn't resisting in a violent way. He questioned the stop, simply wanted to know why he was being pulled over. And let's be honest, if you was asked about your headlights in the middle of the day, you think it's a little suspicious too. But does a suspicious question justify this type of force? These officers had a decision to make. They could have simply issued him a ticket and let him go. Instead, they chose to escalate the situation to the point of violence. This is where it gets harder to defend. Excessive force is something we've seen before. But here, it's clear that the officers' actions were not justified. They smashed his window and dragged him out. That is a response that should be reserved for a situation where there is a clear threat, a danger. But that wasn't the case here. McNeill was not angry. He wasn't violent. He wasn't even moving quickly. He was questioning the stop. Yes, he didn't comply, but the question remains. Does a failure to comply justify violence? In this case, I can't help but think if McNeill had responded in a more aggressive manner, this situation could have escalated even further to the point where his life might have been in danger. Thankfully, that didn't happen. But who can say how many other encounters like this have gone wrong? This is not about a single police encounter. This is about something much bigger, racial profiling. When you hear the term driving while black, this is what it looks like. When McNeill questioned the police stop, he was not being aggressive. He was simply asking, why am I being stopped? But in this country, too many times, Black women and black men are prejudged. They're stopped simply because of the color of their skin. And when they question it, they're met with force. What does that say about the system we live in? Is it fair to ask a black man to just sit there, be silent, and accept a police stop without a question? No, it's not. Questioning your rights is a constitutional right. Asking why you're being stopped should never be a crime. McNeill is now represented by attorney Ben Crump, who is demanding justice. Crump claims this is a clear case of driving while black, and I agree. This is a case where a black man was harassed and violently arrested simply for questioning the police. A situation that, had it been handled differently, could have led to a completely different outcome. And it's important to note, the only reason we even know what happened is because McNeill had the foresight to record the incident from his perspective. Without that video, who knows what story would have been told. And that's why we need more of us to stand up. We need more of us to document these encounters. We need to be our own witnesses. The question that many people will ask is, what should McNeill do now? He didn't comply with the police, but that does not justify the force that was used against him. What other choice does he have? When you're wronged, when you're hurt, when your rights are violated, the only way to fight back is through the system. You sue. And I fully support his decision to sue the police department and the officers involved. It's his only recourse. We can't just accept this type of behavior from the police. We can't let it slide because somebody didn't comply. And I think we all can agree on one thing. Thank God McNeill is still alive. Yes, he was violently arrested. Yes, his car window was smashed. But the reality is, this could have gone much worse. If McNeill had been any more resistant, if he had gotten any more competitive with the officers, this could have been another life lost at the hands of the police. And I believe that his demeanor is what saved him. His calmness in the face of such violence is a lesson in how to navigate a system that often sees you as a threat. So what do we learn from this? The lesson here is simple. We must come together and fight back against racial profiling and police brutality. That's all we can do. McNeill did not deserve what happened to him. No one does. He was wronged and he deserves justice. That's why he has the right to sue. But let's be honest, it shouldn't even have to come to this. Police officers should know how to handle a situation like this without escalating it to violence. We have to demand accountability from those who took an oath to protect and serve. And we must continue to push for a system that holds police officers to a higher standard. Let's stay united, let's stay strong, and let's never stop fighting for justice. Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Peace.